So the new guy's immigration plan is hitting more than just one wall right now.
Yeah.
A federal judge just blocked him from cutting off funds to sanctuary cities that harbor undocumented immigrants, saying it would cause those cities immediate, irreparable harm. Now, of course, a Twitter rant followed where, who said, "See you in the Supreme Court." So, I mean, does what the judge is saying make sense?
Well, yes, it does.
Trump doesn't seem to want any blowback. So you have, the legislative branch and the executive branch are all Republican. The only thing that you can rely on to give you some kind of blowback is the judiciary. And then when they say no, he gets into a hissy fit like that. "I'll see you in the Supreme Court," the big threat. And he thinks it's a dictatorship, this guy.
He does. He doesn't understand the separation of powers.
Yes.
And we have that for a reason. We want that constitutional balance, and we certainly want a checks and balances on the president, and that's why there's that separation.
Right.
But what's interesting in the Twitter rant, he says the Ninth Circuit. This judge is not on the Ninth Circuit. This judge is a federal judge in San Francisco. So if he loses,
where's the Ninth Circuit?
The Ninth Circuit covers several states, and California is one of those states. So if he wants to appeal it, he can appeal it to the Ninth Circuit. But how could he not understand that the judge is not even seated there?
Do we need to even ask that? I think he took the talking point, because people often talk about the Ninth Circuit as being an activist court and more of a liberal court in terms of their rulings. So I think he ran with a talking point that unfortunately did not apply accurately in this case.
Precision is not his strong suit.
I do have a hard time. I think he is right on the issue of sanctuary cities. I've always struggled with the concept of sanctuary cities myself, because they violate federal law. The United States law, U.S. law requires these jurisdictions to notify ICE, to notify the federal government if you have undocumented immigrants living in your region. And these cities essentially say, we're not going to uphold federal law. We're going to reserve our right to do that. And I don't understand how cities, how jurisdictions can selectively decide which laws they like. For example, if a city in Texas or the state of Texas decided they didn't like gay marriage rulings, or they didn't like Roe versus Wade, people would be up in arms saying, this place doesn't have the right to override federal law. And I would be as well.
That's what they've done. Listen, when you say states' rights, this is states' rights. Listen, the states, our state says, well, so is, marijuana laws is federal law. States say, listen, we think it's okay, and we're going to go with this. I believe very strongly.
That's not actually accurate in terms of the federal law that you're citing.
No. Do you think, because it's important?
It's very in the weeds, so I don't want to get too in the weeds.
Well,
but
don't get in the weeds. Just tell the point.
It's just not accurate to say that these sanctuary. First of all, there aren't any designated sanctuary cities, and that's one of the problems with trying to say that they're not following a federal law, because there is no necessarily federal law that says these particular cities have to do it. But the problem that I also have with Republicans and conservatives is that they always want limited government, yet they don't have a problem with using the arm of the federal government to somehow squash states' rights. I mean, and that's.
But I think what Jed was saying, which is the part I agree with, is the part I take issue with in regard to sanctuary cities, and this is one case that was really famous in 2015. There was an undocumented immigrant who shot a girl. Now, this was a gentleman who had who had been deported 5 times. He had 7 felonies. He was on probation from Texas and fled to San Francisco knowing he'd be protected. I think everyone can agree when it comes to people that are this is a 5-time felon.
Right, he shouldn't have been
He should not be in this.
But then the federal government can get involved, because ICE are federal government agents. What the federal government wants these states to do is to employ state resources. That is not the business of the state.
I'm not saying what Trump has done is constitutional. I'm saying that I think something has to be tightened up here. We should never have these criminals here.
But here's the thing. If you cut funding to the people who are supposed to be watching out, if you cut funding to the folks whose job it is to say, listen, this guy's been out 5 times, we got to grab him. If you cut all that, if you cut all of the things that we've put in place to grab somebody, and there's a lot of things that go wrong, but I don't think you can name more than maybe, and I mean no disrespect, but you can name 5 times in the 25, 30 years of people going, because people try to follow the law. People try to keep felons out. They try to do it. But if people are coming in and their name is not on a thing and you're not taking care of that, I mean, there's stuff in place we could be doing.
Well,
the
federal officials had asked to be notified if this guy was flagged, and the local officials.
Because that's the job of the federal government, not of the
state. I'm saying at that point, when it comes to criminals, I feel like it takes a village. There, I'm not saying the way Trump is doing it, but there's got to be a tightening of someone's flagged here, and you should be saying we're all in this together when it comes to breaking the law.
Yes, you have to do it, but you have to have the people in place to do it.
But it's the federal agents,
also,
not the state.
But when you talk about states' rights, the primary job of the federal government, in my view, is national security. That is their primary job. So when people are fighting about states' rights issue, oftentimes they're fighting for things that they believe the federal government has overtaken authority that was reserved constitutionally to the states. Here, we're talking about an issue of immigration and national security. The federal government should be involved. ICE should be involved. And if you have a jurisdiction that's saying, we're not going to cooperate with immigration and customs enforcement.
They're saying that they're not going to become federal agents, Jed.
Right,
That's what they're
Are they going to communicate? Or are they going to report these people to ICE and say these are undocumented?
They don't have to
I do believe that people, when the laws are in place, if there is a criminal, there is nothing saying that New York can't take care of that. That they're not going to deport somebody and say, we've put this person out. You know, as I said the other day, Obama deported more illegal immigrants than any president.
He did. Undocumented.
Than any president. Or undocumented work. The words, it's like being black or Negro or African American. I can't remember. I can't remember the right word. Okay? I'm going to say what I remember. Come on. You know?
It's sort of like the Underground Railroad in a way it reminds me of, or the people in Germany who took in the Jews. It's like there are people who are really in trouble, who are going to be separated from their children. And so, you know, anyway, where's Melania going to go if we don't have any sanctuary cities?
I think that's a fair point. No one's talking about, I mean, there are families here that get broken up. There are good, hardworking people that came here, were undocumented, and are contributing to society. But we also have an issue of crime coming across. We also have an issue of women who are assaulted and raped trying to get here.
And that's
I want my local police officer trying to pretend to be a federal immigration officer. I don't want. I don't want
and
that.
let's not spread this thing that rapists and murderers are coming from other countries. No, I just want to.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are women.
So let me clear. I'm trying to clear it up for you. I'm trying to help you.
That's not what's happening.
I'm trying to help you because if that's what my ear heard, that's why I'm saying that's not what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are women who, in an effort to come here and find a better life, oftentimes find themselves in precarious situations where they are raped and they are assaulted in an effort to get to the United States because they are because that's the argument to secure the border, to protect those people, to protect people.
We'll be right back because you know we got to finish talking about that.